You are listening to the Pregnancy Podcast with Vanessa Merton.
Hello. Thank you for tuning into the Pregnancy Podcast. In today's episode, we're talking about your partner's role in supporting you in pregnancy, birth, and postpartum. Most of the mental and physical work of having a baby really falls on mom. And one of the most common things that I hear from partners is that they don't know what to do, or they feel useless and like there's nothing for them to help with. That could not be further from the truth. There is so much that a partner can do during pregnancy, for labor and birth, and in the postpartum period, and that role matters much more than you may think. This episode walks through your partner's role at every stage and the practical and evidence-based ways that they can support you and your baby. Whether you are a partner that wants to be more involved or a mom hoping to get your partner on the same page, you'll come away with a clear idea of how to navigate this together. You can find the full article and all of the links for this episode at pregnancypodcast.com/partner-role. Today, we're walking through your partner's role, from prenatal appointments to postpartum recovery. If you want to go deeper on any topic, there are so many more Pregnancy Podcast premium episodes with evidence-based information that you won't find anywhere else. Plus, premium members get access to the ad-free feed, which means you never hear advertisements. And when you sign up, you get a copy of the Your Birth Plan book. Check it out at pregnancypodcast.com/premium. The VTech V-Hush stroller rocker gently rocks your baby's stroller or crib so that they can sleep peacefully anywhere. It has 3 motion levels, an amber nightlight, and built-in soothing sounds and lullabies. Check it out at pregnancypodcast.com/VTech. 8 Sheep Organics makes natural handcrafted products with clinically proven ingredients for common symptoms like stretch marks, insomnia, restless legs, and leg cramps. Every product comes with a 100-day happiness guarantee. So if you don't love it, you can send them an email and they'll get you a refund, no questions asked. Check it out and save 10% when you go to pregnancypodcast.com/8sheep. A lot of having a baby rests solely on mom. You're carrying the baby for 9 months. You go through all of the physical and emotional demands of pregnancy, labor, and birth. And afterwards, you're the one that's recovering and breastfeeding your newborn around the clock. So where does that leave your partner? First, if there are 2 of you to navigate this together, you are very fortunate. The entire process of having and raising a baby is exponentially harder alone. So I do want to say, if you do not have a romantic partner or a co-parent, please lean on friends and family so that you're not going through this without support. This episode will break down exactly what your partner or another support person can do to support you and your baby at every stage, from pregnancy through those first few weeks at home. Although your partner's not the one carrying the baby or giving birth, there is plenty that they can do when you're pregnant. And these early roles really set the tone for how supported you will feel throughout your pregnancy. First up is support mom in staying healthy. How you take care of your health during pregnancy is one of the biggest influences on your developing baby, and your partner can make that easier. The basic building blocks here are eating whole foods, staying hydrated, getting plenty of sleep, and exercising. These habits are much harder to keep up if your partner is not on board. Partners can support healthy eating by cooking at home or grabbing healthier options when you eat out. If you're tired, they can let you sleep in or encourage an earlier bedtime. If you need a nudge to stay active, an invitation to go for a walk or do something active together can go a long way. When you're working on healthy habits, if your partner is doing the opposite, it's going to make everything harder. Another role they play is the role of empathizer. All kinds of symptoms can pop up during pregnancy. Some of them are just annoying, and others can be something more serious. This could include all kinds of things: constipation, heartburn, fatigue, headaches, morning sickness, hemorrhoids, or more serious things like gestational diabetes or hypertension. You can ease some symptoms with remedies. Others are out of your control and may just stick around until your baby's born. Your partner may not be going through the same things that you are, but they can still empathize. Sometimes it's just enough to know that someone is by your side, even if they can't relate or they don't have a solution for you. A partner who listens and acknowledges that what you're feeling is real can make a hard day more manageable. Another role your partner can play is study partner. They can take on some of the work of learning about pregnancy and birth, preparing for a baby. If you're reading a book, flag pages or highlight sections to share. If you find a helpful article or study, send it their way and ask them to read it. Podcasts, of course, are a great resource. I'm biased on that, obviously. A lot of shows, including this one, offer transcripts that they can read if they're not into listening to audio. The biggest benefit of your partner educating themselves is that it lets the two of you have informed conversations and make decisions together. I have done thousands of hours of research, so chances are whatever question you have or whatever topic you're looking for information on, there's probably a pregnancy podcast episode that covers it. One thing that I am a huge advocate for is having your partner attend prenatal appointments. If they can't be there in person, see if they can join by video chat or on speakerphone. Throughout your pregnancy, you can expect around 14 prenatal appointments. That's roughly 14 days over the course of 9 months that you will actually see your doctor or midwife. And your partner should aim to be there for as many as they can. Being present lets them have input on major decisions, ask questions, hear everything firsthand. And if complications come up or you get unfavorable test results, those appointments can be so much easier with someone by your side. If your partner cannot make every appointment, there are a few that matter more than others. The first appointment is when your provider is going to confirm your pregnancy and set expectations. The anatomy scan ultrasound, which happens about the halfway point, is when a lot of parents find out their baby's sex, and it's pretty special to see your baby on an ultrasound. In the last month before your due date, appointments are weekly and they tend to include a lot more conversation about birth. So if they can't make every appointment, the priorities are the first appointment, the anatomy scan, and those final visits. You may be planning for maternity leave, and there's a counter to that for partners that is paternity leave. I urge you and your partner to take off as much time as possible when your baby arrives. Especially those first few weeks are a major adjustment and a very special window that you do not get back. Your partner needs to figure out how much time they can take and whether or not it would be paid. If they're employed, a good place to start is their employer. In the United States, the Family Medical Leave Act provides eligible employees up to 12 weeks of job-protected leave, although generally this goes unpaid. There are a growing number of states that now offer paid family leave, but policies really vary a lot, so you need to look into the specifics of where you live. Self-employed partners also need to plan ahead to step away from their business or at least cut back on hours. I understand taking a huge chunk of time off is not always easy, especially if it means that you're losing out on income. But remember, this is a very short, irreplaceable window. And I encourage both of you to get creative and find a way to spend as much time as possible with your family, especially in those first few weeks. Next, let's talk about your partner's role during labor and birth. Birth was once an event that was only attended by women. And with the medicalization of birth in the early 1900s, fathers were actually sent to waiting rooms while their babies were born. They were very rarely present in the actual room. And that changed a lot. Partners are now welcome in the delivery room. I would say it's even expected. And they are more present at birth than ever. Since you listen to this podcast, I'm guessing that you want to have some say in your birth experience. You have a lot of choices about where you give birth, who is there, the environment you're in, and what happens. As you're preparing for birth, there are two key things, and your partner should be involved in both. The first is that you and your partner should take an in-person or online birth class. A comprehensive class prepares you both for what to expect and will help you navigate your options. This is also a great crash course that's going to get your partner up to speed on everything they need to know to support you. Most comprehensive in-person classes meet once a week for about 6 weeks. I suggest that you turn this into a weekly date night, go out to dinner afterwards, use that time to talk about what you learned and what your plans are for your baby. It's a really great way to carve out some quality time together before your baby arrives. The other key tool is a birth plan. And this is far more than a piece of paper you hand to your provider. This is really the process of preparing for the birth experience that you want. And not just for what happens when everything goes as planned, but for what happens when things do not. There is a step-by-step guide to creating your birth plan. I will link to that in the article for this episode. What matters most here is that you include your partner. So as you create your plan, talk with your partner about how they can support you. Do you want them to just offer encouragement and hold your hand? Would you like them to play a more active part in reminding you to try different positions or helping walk you through breathing techniques? Your partner may have the chance to cut the umbilical cord or even catch your baby. If there's something specific that you want them involved in, include it in your plan and let your birth team know ahead of time. Next, we're going to keep talking about ways that your partner can support you during birth and after your baby arrives. Before we do that, I would like to thank the sponsors that have supported this episode. A lot of companies have exclusive discounts for pregnancy podcast listeners, and you can always see discounts and promo codes at pregnancypodcast.com/resources. If you've ever tried to get a baby to fall asleep in a stroller or a crib while you're trying to get things done, you know that the exact moment when the motion stops, they wake back up. The VTech V-Hush stroller rocker is designed for this exact problem. It's a portable device. You can attach it to a stroller or a crib. There's a universal mounting system, and it uses a gentle mechanical rocking motion to keep your baby asleep without you having to stand there rocking them. You can choose from 3 motion levels to match what works best for your baby. VTech is amazing with packing in thoughtful details. There's a built-in amber nightlight, a rechargeable battery, and soothing sounds, white noise, and lullabies to help your baby drift off and stay asleep. Soothe your baby to sleep anywhere with the VTech V-Hush stroller rocker. Check it out at pregnancypodcast.com/VTech. Let's get back to today's episode. Your partner can be an invaluable advocate during labor, but only if they know your birth plan and understand your requests. When you're focused on coping with contractions, your partner can help ensure that your doctor, midwife, nurses, doula, whoever it is honoring your wishes. Your partner can speak up if you're having trouble doing it yourself. They should know what you want and what you want to avoid. This is really where your birth class and your birth plan come into play. If you want an epidural as soon as you arrive, your partner can make sure that happens. If you're planning on an unmedicated birth, they can make sure that medication is not being pushed when you don't want it. Labor is a marathon, and your partner really needs to be there both physically and emotionally. They should be well rested and prepared to be present for the whole thing. There will be moments when you feel drained, and there's going to be times when your partner feels like they can't do anything to help you. But in those moments, simply being by your side and knowing that you're supported can be exactly what helps you through it. When you're going into labor, your only focus should be managing contractions and meeting your baby. But there's other tasks that still need attention. And good news is your partner can handle these. If you have a doula, this is also something that they could do. They could fill the role of labor and birth coordinator. If you don't have a doula, your partner can do this. It may sound like a big job, but it's really very simple. First, your partner should have contact information for anyone they may need to reach. This starts with your doctor or midwife to let them know that you're in labor. If you have other children or pets that need care, your partner can coordinate care for them. They should also be ready to get you where you need to go. They should know where the hospital or birth center is, how to get there, which entrance to use, where to park. If you're having a home birth, they can greet your midwife and your support team when they arrive. These are all little details that you should not have to think about once labor starts. So talk about this with your partner ahead of time so that they can coordinate all of these administrative things that need to happen once you go into labor. Another valuable role is that of gatekeeper. And this is for both at the birth and in the first days and weeks afterwards. Dealing with visitors can be really exhausting after you have your baby, especially you're healing, you're bonding with your baby, you're navigating breastfeeding. It's completely okay to say no to some or all visitors or to set boundaries around those visits. The only person that truly needs to be there with you is your partner. And they're in a great position to manage communication with family and friends so that you only have visitors when you are ready for them. Next, let's really talk about postpartum. The postpartum period encompasses the days, weeks, and months after you have your baby, and it brings challenges that many new parents are unprepared for. Your partner needs to be there for you physically and emotionally. And recovery after birth really looks different for every mom. It depends on whether you had a vaginal birth or a cesarean, how your labor unfolded. Here's what your partner needs to know. First up, physical recovery. After labor, you will be exhausted, and your only job is to rest and spend time with your baby. If your partner can take something off your plate so that you can relax, ask them to do that. You're also going to be sore and healing. If you had a cesarean, that's major surgery and the incision takes time to heal. Even if you have a vaginal birth, that's often accompanied by a tear of the perineum. According to the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, the rate of some degree of laceration during all vaginal births is between 53 to 79%. Even with an intact perineum, if you don't have any tearing, that area will be sore. And your partner can help by minimizing how much you need to move around. That could mean taking the dog for a walk or just grabbing you something from another room. After birth, you go through a sharp drop in hormones. And many new mothers experience the baby blues. This can bring mood swings, crying spells, anxiety, irritability, feeling overwhelmed, and trouble sleeping or eating. The baby blues are very common. They usually start within the first 2 to 3 days, but they do tend to fade on their own within 1 to 2 weeks. Some new moms experience a more severe, longer-lasting form of depression known as postpartum depression. This can be mistaken for the baby blues at first, but the symptoms are more intense and last longer. This can interfere with your ability to care for your baby and to even handle daily tasks. Symptoms usually develop within the first few weeks, but they can show up later, sometimes up to 6 months after birth. Your partner will likely spend more time with you than anyone in those early weeks, and they should be the first line of defense to notice any warning signs. If you're having trouble coping emotionally, please reach out to your doctor or midwife. Make sure that you're getting help early. Ignoring it and hoping that it passes is not a good strategy. And your partner can help by checking in on how you're doing mentally and encouraging you to contact your provider if you're struggling. It's also worth knowing that partners are not immune to postpartum depression. The stress that comes with a newborn, loss to sleep, even changes in hormone levels after your baby arrives occur in your partner, and this can affect your partner's mental health too. One study found that at least 17.5% of fathers experienced the postpartum blues, and that those symptoms were linked to more difficulty bonding with their baby. Feelings of sadness or depression in partners show up most often in the first 3 to 6 months, but they can develop up to a year after birth. If your partner is struggling, please encourage them to reach out to their own doctor. Supporting you includes taking care of themselves too. Another role your partner can play is breastfeeding support. Breastfeeding can be physically and emotionally demanding, and for many moms, it doesn't necessarily come easily and naturally, but your partner can make a huge difference. If your baby is exclusively breastfed, your partner may feel like there's nothing that they can do. But that could not be further from the truth. While they can't nurse your baby, there's a lot they can do to support you. Of course, if you're supplementing with formula, your partner can help with feedings. That could be really valuable, especially in the middle of the night. If you're breastfeeding and you run into any challenges, your partner can encourage you to reach out to a support group, contact your doctor or midwife, or get in touch with a lactation consultant. Those first days and weeks can be hard, but breastfeeding does get easier, and encouragement from your partner goes a long way. You will quickly find that when you're nursing, it's easy to get stuck sitting or lying down with one arm holding your baby, and that leaves you with one free hand and stuck in one spot. Your partner can bring you water or something that you can eat easily with one hand. Breastfeeding can also be lonely, especially when you're navigating those first few weeks and it feels like your baby is constantly attached to you. Your partner can sit with you just so that the two of you can chat. You can watch a show together. Having some company during those times can really make a big difference. And when you're out in public, your partner can support you in feeding however is comfortable for you. That could mean helping you find a private place to feed your baby or just sitting with you while you're out in the open. After your baby's here, while you're doing the round-the-clock work of feeding and recovering, your partner can help to take on more of the everyday tasks that keep a household running. None of these things stop when your baby arrives. That means dishes, making meals, tidying up, grocery runs. If you're usually the one who handles all of these things, now is the time for your partner to step up. The more that your partner takes off your plate, the more space you have to focus on your baby and your recovery. There's a lot of practices that are marketed to moms, but there are things like skin-to-skin contact and baby wearing that are just as valuable for partners. Holding your baby against your bare chest is a simple and very powerful way to bond. and it's something that your partner can do from day one. Bonding is not always instant, and that could be for any parent, moms and dads. Something small like skin-to-skin contact is a fantastic way to help you bond with your baby. A baby carrier is another great tool and something that your partner can use. This lets your partner bond with your baby. They're hands-free. This is great for going on a walk or just hanging out around the house, and it gives you a break so that you can rest without holding your baby. The best carrier is going to be the one that your partner will actually use. So it's worth finding one that feels comfortable for them also, or getting them their own carrier. Throughout your pregnancy, birth, postpartum, your care provider is your trusted partner, and they're also there for your partner. The more your partner understands, the better the two of you can advocate together so that you get the pregnancy experience and the birth experience that you really want. If either of you is ever concerned about something with you, with your baby, or even with your partner's own mental health, do not hesitate to reach out to your doctor, your midwife, or your pediatrician. Always trust your instincts. While this care provider is your doctor, your midwife, this is also somebody that is available to your partner. There are a couple of episodes that are geared specifically towards dads and partners that pair really well with this one. There is a pregnancy crash course for dads and partners, and a guide to preparing your partner for birth. I'll include both of those in the article for this episode. And one of my favorite tools for dads is the Daily Dad. This is a daily email with one piece of timeless parenting advice. It's written by Ryan Holiday. He's fantastic. Of course, I'm not a dad, I'm a mom, but I have been a subscriber to this newsletter for years. It's something that I read every morning, and I recommend it for every parent. To recap everything that we covered in today's episode, we talked about the big picture of your partner's role and why it's so important. We walked through pregnancy, how your partner can support healthy habits, empathize with your symptoms, be a study partner, show up at prenatal appointments, and plan for paternity leave. We talked about labor and birth, how they can help coordinate logistics, act as gatekeeper, and we talked about postpartum, where your partner can help in your physical recovery, keep an eye out for postpartum mood changes, support breastfeeding, help take on the mental and household load, and the power of simple things like skin-to-skin contact and baby wearing for your partner. I'd like to thank you for tuning into the Pregnancy Podcast today. I hope that you find this episode helpful. I hope that you share this episode with your partner so that they have a better idea of what their role is during pregnancy. As always, you can reach me, Vanessa, at pregnancypodcast.com. You can read the full article and see all of the resources that accompany this episode at pregnancypodcast.com/partner role. If you're looking for more evidence-based information, there's a whole lot more for Pregnancy Podcast Premium members. Premium members get access to the private podcast feed, so they get every episode of the podcast, and it's all ad-free. Check it out at pregnancypodcast.com/premium.